So every time MAGA opens their mouth these days, it's to complain about the price of everything. They want to talk about the grocery bill being outrageous. They want to talk about the price of eggs. They want to talk about how a bag of chips is outrageous these days. They want to talk about how they went through the drive-thru at McDonald's and almost went broke. And they're just constantly sitting back telling us that they cannot make it, they cannot survive in this world. And they're the very people who sits back while Trump tries to grift them all this crappy merch that they themselves can't even afford. I've yet to see anyone in my part of the world wearing those ridiculous gold sneakers. He's out there trying to sell those and Bibles and shirts with his mugshot on it that says never surrender, even though that's him surrendering and they don't put the two together. He tries to grift them coins that they could never afford, digital trading cards that they could never afford, and now $100,000 watches that they sure as hell could never afford. But they will sit back and cheer him on as he grifts. And they will go out to an auction and stand back and cheer a man who spent $4,000 to get a guitar that was autographed by Taylor Swift, only to then destroy it with a hammer. And no, I'm not making this up, folks. Let's take a look at this clip, and then I want to come back and talk about the hills that people choose to die on. Take a look at this.
Yes, we don't need the wall hanger. Gary. Now take that, hang up that busted thing.
So this guy goes out, pays $4,000 for a guitar autographed by Taylor Swift, and then destroys it with a hammer, and he thinks that's a flex. And he's got an audience there cheering that on. And I promise you, any reasonable person that's sitting back looking at it sees it for the stupidity that it truly is. No one's sitting back going, oh man, he really showed Taylor there. Oh man, she's going to go broke. No one's saying that. No one is looking over at them thinking they're tough or big or mean or anything. That just comes off very weak to me. That comes off very fragile. Now, from a musician standpoint, I could simply say that to destroy a guitar like that is ridiculous. I've never been a fan of people destroying instruments. As much as I love Jimi Hendrix and, yeah, him lighting his guitar on fire at Monterey made for a cool photo, I've just never been a fan of people, in the words of John Hyatt, one of my favorite songwriters, smashing a perfectly good guitar. And if you've never heard that song, go check it out. It's John Hyatt, Perfectly Good Guitar. I used to play that song a lot because it breaks my heart to see those stars smashing a perfectly good guitar. I would never, folks, I don't like Ted Nugent, but I would never go out to an auction and spend that kind of money just to get his guitar just to smash it. That's one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever seen, but that's the hill that dude chose to die on. And I got to thinking about it as I watched that clip, you know. When I first sat down in this chair, not this chair, but chairs like this, to start doing this kind of content, I began to use the phrase, this is the hill that I was willing to die on. And I used it quite often. And the reason I used it is because for over 20 years of my life, I would go out here in my part of the world. I'd play at dive bars, and I played old school country sounding music. You know, I wrote my own songs and I mixed in old school country covers with it. And I played to mostly white and mostly conservative audiences in very redneck parts of East Tennessee and Southeast Kentucky. And when I went into other people's establishment, I realized that establishment was their platform. So I didn't get up there and get on some political bullhorn because that wasn't what I was paid to do. I was paid to entertain the people, and that's what I went in there and did it for over 20 years. And I never got up there and went off on political rants. I never got up there and told them who to vote for, what to do. I didn't do that kind of thing because I realized, hey, that guy back there owns this place. That guy back there hired me to sing here. He didn't hire me to talk politics. But there just come a point where I couldn't stay quiet any longer. And I've said so many times that the issues at hand became so important and I felt so compelled to talk about it that I said to myself, the world doesn't need to hear me do a Skinner cover again. They can live without hearing me sing Waylon. You know, what needs to happen is I need to be talking about the issues at hand because deep down in my gut, I had always wanted to. Deep down in my gut, I had always wanted to speak out about the issues at hand, but I just didn't because I was in that music world and you were supposed to keep politics out of it. You're supposed to shut up and sing, which I never really understood that because my heroes were the people that wrote great songs and spoke out anyway. But I came out, I started doing this kind of content, and real quick, I noticed that, yeah, I was definitely pissing off and alienating people in my part of the world. And I was told, you're going to lose your audience. You're going to completely lose your audience if you do this. And I did. I went from playing every weekend all the time to not playing at all. People that were my friends for years stopped and booked me for years to play, stopped returning my calls, stopped answering my emails. It happened pretty rapidly and pretty quick. But at no point have I got on here and call them by name and bash them, because again, that's their platform, and I understand that I wouldn't make sense if I was on it. So I get it. I understand why. But I said this is the hill that I choose to die on, because these are the issues that matter most to me. Now, since that's happened, I did run off my original audience. Some people stuck around. I do have some diehards that still love me. But I had a lot of people turn away. But at the same time, I had an audience that caught on that's just out of this world. And all of a sudden, I've got over 300,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and countless subscribers on all the other platforms. It's totally blew my mind. And now I have people walking up to me from all walks of life, because I just said, I used to play in front of mostly white, mostly conservative audiences. Well, now I've got people from all walks of life walking up to me when they see me out in public, shaking my hand and thanking me for talking and speaking up about the issues at hand. And that means the world to me. And then I see that guy and I say to myself, there's a good chance this guy will probably go viral. He'll probably be a superstar for doing this. And there'll be people that will go down to the tractor pull to meet him and get an autograph from the guy that smashed up that Taylor guitar. And I'm so glad that I never chose that as my hill to die on. I'm so glad that when I look back at my life now, I'm so glad that, like when I was in my 20s, I didn't get some sort of record deal and get locked into it to where I wouldn't be allowed to speak out because I wouldn't be allowed to rock the boat, and I'd have to sit there and not say anything. That would have drove me insane. So I'm really glad that things worked out the way it did. But when people like that catches on in popularity, they're only seeing people who looks like them and sounds like them and shares the same hatred that they share and shares the same cruel, sick sense of humor that they share. And so when I saw that, I thought, he's got a crowd sitting there cheering for him. And he'll have people walk up, hey, you the guy that smashed that guitar? And they'll want to get their picture took with him. And it's all because he was just an asshole that day. And so it really made me stop in my tracks and think about my life and what I've been through and went through over the last couple of years, adjusting to this new way of life. But it's absolutely been worth it to have people that I otherwise would have never met, otherwise would have never been in the same place with. And I met them from all walks of life, and they said, thank you. And I have a message of me every day saying, thank you. And it's for standing up for other people and trying to lift people up and not beat people down and not do something ridiculous like that. And you'll never see me go out to an auction and buy a Kid Rock guitar just to smash it. I would never smash an instrument like that. It's ridiculous to me. And when I see that and I see that type of flex, I say to myself, what kind of person really cheers for that? And why do they think that it makes them look so macho or so manly? It doesn't. It makes you look so weak and fragile, and it's just laughable, and it's just sad. But I truly appreciate it. Like I said, I do have some people that have stuck with me through it all, been with me for years and years, and was here before any of this blew up on YouTube. And so they know who they are, and they know I love them, and I thank them so much. But thank you guys so much for coming along on this ride with me. Thank you for all the positive messages I get. Thank you when you walk up in public and want to shake my hand. Those things mean a whole lot to me. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of people that doesn't even realize it's there. I didn't for the longest time back when I first got on YouTube. I didn't realize it was there or what it was about. But basically, you'll just be notified in the notifications when I post a video, and just helps keep everything in the algorithm and keeps things moving. So if you feel like it, leave a comment, and let me know what your favorite band is. Let me know what kind of music you like. That's all I did for so many years. I love talking music. Over on Patreon right now, we're having a really good time. If you've not checked out our Patreon, check it out in the link on this video. I've been doing a lot of old cover songs. I think that might be why I've been having to clear my throat a lot, because I haven't really sang a lot here lately. And I've been singing cover songs over on Patreon, and people have been requesting some really good ones. I've sung some Neil Young. I've sung some Jimmy Buffett. I've sung some by the band. And I've had so many cool requests come in that I'm like, yeah, this is going to be fun. So I'm still playing music, and I'm playing it to people that actually um, isn't going to disown me or wish that I go broke if I disagree with them. So that's good. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And again, we'll just keep pushing forward, and good things are ahead. I really believe we need to stay optimistic. I know it's easy. It's so easy these days to be doom and gloom, but don't let people like that there bring you down or piss you off. Just laugh at them for the idiots they are and keep moving.